We are live. Hello and welcome to this special show on Cricket Adda. At a time when the Indian team has put up a special show on the fifth day of the third test match between India and Australia. At the start of the day, India chasing 407. Absolute no chance to the Indian team. But four Indian batsmen have managed to escape a loss at the Sydney cricket ground, and the scoreline still reads 1-1 as we move to Gabba. It's a full house at Cricket Adda as Ninad Lakde, Advait Lachke, Aditya Srinivas, Nikhil Potnis, and Sumant Dangi join me to review the third test and preview the fourth test. First of all, initial thoughts on what is a fabulous performance from the Indian team. Ninad, let's start with you. These four batsmen were not only normal batsmen, these were injured batsmen. Rishabh Pant hit on the elbow, R. Ashwin having a dodgy back, and Hanuma Vihari who had damaged his hamstring. I mean, batting for more than 90 overs on that day, absolutely brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, totally agree with you. Ashwin got hit on the chest, Pant on the elbow, I think, and yeah, Vihari had a injury on his hamstring. So yeah, and the bowling from the Australians, it was quite testing as well. So, and they were bowling a barrage of short balls, bouncers, and really the work that these four batsmen had put into to bat through an entire day of, like, I would say arguably it's the best test bowling lineup for, I mean, in of this year or so. So yeah, uh, major respect to them and for what they have done.
Nikhil, let me come to you. You might have to change your prediction, but that doesn't matter at this point of time. Did you really give a chance to India on the start of the fifth day? And were you surprised? Were you really pleasantly surprised by this performance? Because it is an absolutely magnificent performance, isn't it?
Yeah, I was. I think you used the right word there. I was pleasantly surprised. I think like all of us, I too thought there's a very small chance India will be able to save this Test match. Um, there's no way we're looking at a win. And the way Rishabh Pant was going after Nathan Lyon, I'm sure all of you must have thought as well that maybe there's a chance we can even win this Test match. Um, but yeah, I mean, as Ninad said, credit to all the players. They played out of their skin. Everyone, Pujara, Pant, and obviously Vihari and Ashwin. The bowling was really challenging, especially towards the end. I was a little bit nervous with Mitchell Stark reversing as well. Yeah, there were a couple of dropped chances, dropped catches, which probably, looking back at it, maybe cost Australia the match if they would have held on to them. And yeah, and even if we would have lost even one wicket in that way, towards the end, you would have. um it would have been a very nervous 1 hour, half an hour because you've basically got three number 11s after them. So yeah, credit to the boys. Everyone played it brilliantly.
Yeah, absolutely. Sumant, Nikhil just briefly mentioned about Rishabh Pant's innings where suddenly everybody thought that this can be chased. 202 sessions is not that difficult, especially the way Pant was going. Had he batted for another hour, Australia would have been in trouble, isn't it?
See, on the fifth day of play, I didn't wake up early. I didn't know what was going to happen, so I just decided to sleep and wake up around 7, 8 and see what happens. And when I woke up, I saw Rahane wasn't there, Pujara was there, and suddenly Rishabh Pant was on 70 something. And I thought, wow, how did this happen? But yeah, the innings that he played in this match really brought life back into the Indian batting. And they went from a situation of certainly losing the match to possibly winning it. And just he made Indians believe for a few hours that India could actually win this test match from an impossible situation. And that alone is an impressive feat. because of the dire situation that they were in. And speaking about all the injuries, it's almost like someone is sitting in the audience, chanting curses. This is my, like in Harry Potter. It's almost like someone is chanting curses and hoping, making people get injured. It's that we're getting so many injuries. Every single match, we're losing at least one bowler and often one batsman. So it puts us in a very difficult situation going into the Gabba test. But the way that they handled all these adversities, the way that they stood through this battle through the pain, they took painkillers and batted on for hours and hours and hours. It's just, and there's only one thing you see after that, and that's respect. You have to
Yeah,
lose respect.
8 people have joined us. So if anybody has any questions, please put it in the comment section and we will try and answer them. Aditya, I would like to come to you. I mean, as Sumant mentioned, this team just keeps coming back because once you're bowled out for 36, people just write you off. And it happened with Team India. They came back in Melbourne, they came back in Sydney. This team is full of character, isn't it?
Definitely. Like Sumant had just said, there is somebody out there in the crowd. I think a person is just holding a voodoo doll and then pressing at each point
Mm-hmm.
on the
Yep.
body so that each person gets an injury. So yeah, I think that's happening, but that's not gonna stop us. We'll be going on with our draws, wins, whatever is needed to get the team going. And that was shown by India. The way Pant batted, the way Bihari showed a lot of grit. Ashwin, huge respect to him. I mean, he had a lot of back pain. It's clearly visible if you check out the dressing room celebrations, and then everyone's hugging Ashwin. Whenever they pat him a bit on the back, he kind of, he smiles like that, kind of shrinks a little bit. So it's pretty visible that he's in pain, and the way they really stood out against such an incredible Australian bowling attack, and not just the bowling attack. I mean, Cummins was definitely throwing a lot of bouncers, very nagging deliveries from each and every bowler they had there. They were also, sledging us so much, keeping it really hard for us to play, trying to make us lose our cool, but that really didn't matter, and it kind of, told us about how the team is right now. And it's really amazing to see that they have such a mentality to go about, securing their wins. And I don't think we drew this match. We definitely won this match because, we showed how it is to play. And I don't think Australia would have expected it. Nobody, everybody wrote us off, as Suman said. I'm really happy
Yeah.
now that we have such a team.
Exactly. The frustration was just creeping in the Australian in the Australian team. You could hear that from Tim
Yeah,
Payne. He just wants to go to Gabba, wasn't focusing on the game. He was in Sydney. Otherwise, let's come to you. We also have to give credit to Ravindra Jadeja. He was sitting there for 2 hours ready to bat. He was constantly trying to bat there. He's focusing. He was ready to bat if he would have got a chance. But Ashwin and Vihari just said that we will do the job. But even Ravindra Jadeja with fractured, dislocated finger was ready to bat. It says something about this team.
Yes, it definitely says something about this thing because I think in the first or second or only Vihari got his hamstring while they ran for the quick single. So yes, after that batting for 160 odd deliveries is quite a great thing. Ashwin had a sore back as said by his wife, so that's quite great. Pant had a really forgettable last year or so because he was dropped from all the three formats. Ashwin was not the batsman that we looked when he was playing in the 2015-16. He lost his batting touch. Pujara of 2020 this Australia series, he hadn't scored so many runs. Yes, he had faced some deliveries, but runs were not coming. Same was with Vihari. He wasn't even facing balls. So yes, no one might have really expected this match to draw because we weren't having the players who got that confidence. So it was a great performance by these players.
Nikhil, I think you have answered the question in the chat, but if you want to answer it again, why did you change your prediction? We will also come to the prediction in the later stages of the show, but if you want to quickly answer it.
Yeah, I was hoping that maybe we could win this test match and maybe then draw at Gabba, but seeing that we've drawn this test match, there really is no chance of us winning at Gabba, you know. I mean, we'll talk about all the injuries and stuff,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
yeah, if you, yeah,
yeah. So
Never say never, Nikhil. Never.
sorry,
Never say never. That's
yeah,
what this
that's
Indian team
true.
is about.
Gavaskar told
That's
us
true.
off, and I kind of believe that strongly. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'm still hoping, and I still think that India will be able to pull off a miracle in Gabba. Though
Yeah, I
Australia
mean, this
lost,
this series has been so unpredictable. You know, anything can
yeah,
happen. It's so good.
exactly,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, so let's move on to the injuries. As Nikhil mentioned, every match two people are going down, and now the news which we all have heard that Ravindra Jadeja obviously is not going to be part of the fourth test. Same is the case with Hanuma Vihari, who damaged his hamstring. He will not be able to play the fourth test. But another big blow, which might really hamper India's chances, is Jasprit Bumrah, because on that green spicy wicket at Brisbane, Jasprit Bumrah was a must, and now India might miss Jasprit Bumrah. Sumant, your thoughts on this? Because if Jasprit Bumrah misses out, then you have Siraj Saini and one of Shardul Thakur or Natarajan who have played a maximum of two tests. Siraj is the most senior bowler who has played two tests. I mean, if anybody would have told you that Siraj will be the lead bowler going into the fourth test, I don't think you would have believed that.
The series on the line.
Yeah,
Exactly. See, Jasprit Bumrah undoubtedly has become the leader of the pace attack now, especially in the absence of the senior Ishant Sharma, Bhuvneshwar Kumar, Umesh Yadav, and Mohammad Shami. So now, suddenly, despite having been hit by so many blows, losing Virat Kohli, losing KL Rahul, even though he wasn't playing, losing so many other bowlers. Now losing Jasprit Bumrah is like someone just stabbed a dagger through India's heart. It actually feels like that because as you said, the other bowlers that we have in the wings waiting to come into the 11, they aren't as experienced, especially at the international level. Shardul Thakur, he's a very experienced bowler in domestic cricket, so I highly believe that he will be the one to come into the 11, and he also offers a bit of batting, which is something that India desperately need from their tail, because the tail has not wagged much in recent years or even in the past. So now I believe that they might have to bring in Kuldeep Yadav, because if that is an option, but that also seems unlikely because at the Gabba, as everyone knows, it's more of a pace friendly wicket. So they will likely just stick with Ashwin and have him don the spinner's role.
yeah.
So
So let's
it
get
looks
into
like
this
a
debate.
situation, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Nikhil, we are getting comments because most likely he is going to miss out. Is Jasprit Bumrah? First of all, your thoughts on that, and then who should come in for him? Is it Natarajan? Is it Shardul Thakur? Because I think Siraj and Saini should play, right?
Yeah. I personally, obviously now there's a question mark on Ashwin as well with his back. You know, I don't know if you saw what his wife tweeted, you know, that he's been, but when he woke up on the fifth day, his back was, he wasn't able to walk properly. So that is a big worry for India because Ashwin has been so important in this series. And if Ashwin is out, then definitely Kuldeep comes in. But if Ashwin is there, then I probably would go with Thakur, Siraj, and Saini, with Siraj leading the attack. I know probably they might be tempted to bring in Natarajan as well, you know, the left-handed option. But I think with Thakur's experience in the domestic, in the domestic seasons, I would go with Shardul Thakur. He Sumant makes a good point that he can bat as well, which is handy. And Natarajan, I just don't think he has enough experience. I think Shardul Thakur played for the India A team as well. Yeah, he's been on previous tours, so I would be more comfortable with Thakur in the team.
Yeah, we are getting comments. this will be an India A versus Australia at the Gabba. Somebody tweeted that they saying this will be the most watched India A game because this is going to be an India A game. You have to agree with that because apart from Rahane and Pujara, very few senior members are available. Obviously, Rohit Sharma is there. Uh, in the comment section,
I'm worried about Ashwin. I just hope Ashwin is fit.
in the comment
I think
section,
our fast bowlers will be able to cope. I'm just worried about Ashwin.
yeah, interesting point. Advait, let's come to you. If Ashwin is not available, do you go to Kuldeep or do you play four pacers, which can also be an option at the Gaba? I mean, India don't have really the best four pacers, but what do you do if Ashwin is not available and who's your replacement for
I think definitely Kuldeep should replace Bumrah because Ashwin, because I don't see four pacers playing at Gaba, because I even don't see Shardul Thakur playing currently, because you are playing at Gaba, the ball will bounce more. So do you see that Shardul Thakur can bat at a bouncier pitch, because he has scored most of his runs in India, where the pitch is quite nice for batting, and even, and if you look at Gaba, the ball will bounce more, is more green. So if you are going in with Shardul because he can bat, I don't think that he would make much more impact with bat. If you are just considering for batting, and if you see who is the more better bowlers considering the situation, then I do think that Natarajan with his height will be much more important than Thakur.
interesting? Aditya, your thoughts on this Natarajan Thakur debate? And if Ashwin isn't fit, do you go with four pacers or Kuldeep directly comes in?
If Ashwin isn't fit, then I think I would be going with the four paces option. But I think about the whole Kuldeep Yadav thing. In my, this is again my opinion. I feel that we already have we have Washington Sundar, and
Yeah, yeah.
I think that Sundar he has averaged a decent amount of runs in the last few years. He can bowl as well, like Ashwin. So I think he'll be a proper replacement for Ashwin. And even with the inclusion of Washington Sundar, I think we can still go with four pacers. It kind of gives the squad a little comfortability in that sense. And about the four pacers, probably yes. Siraj, Natarajan, and who was the rest? Siraj, Natarajan,
Saini.
Saini, yeah, Navdeep
Saini and Thakur.
Saini and Thakur, yeah. Uh, Shardul Thakur isn't that experienced, but the Gaba pitch I think, would kind of, work out in his favor. He's someone who delivers a lot of pace. He can generate a lot of swing, and he's a really good player. He's shown how effective he is. I'm hoping to see more from him. Siraj has been good, and the rest are fine. Navdeep Saini is also someone I'm looking forward to witnessing in this. So I think with including Sundar into the squad, it can still be a little more comfortable. Kuldeep, I don't think when it comes to the batting arena, he's as good as Washington Sundar. That's my opinion. So I think that's where I am in this debate.
Saurabh has commented, and even I have read that there are reports that Sundar can play, but I'm not in favor of Sundar because he hasn't played Test cricket, not even in India. So playing in Australia at on a pitch where there might not be too much spin on offer will be difficult for Sundar. Obviously, he can bat, but again, batting against this bowling attack will be different. Ninad, your thoughts on this? Should Sundar come in if Ashwin is injured, or do you go with Kuldeep? And the paces debate again.
Yeah, so regarding the paces debate, I guess I would go with a trio of Saini, Siraj, and Natarajan because uh, they would have the most effective. They would be most effective on the Gabba pitch because all three of them have got good bounce and yeah, so they can bowl those line and length consistently, which trouble the batsman on a bouncy pitch. And then in case Ashwin gets injured, I would say that I would go with Kuldeep Yadav over uh, Washington Sundar. That's because Kuldeep Yadav has that experience of playing test games in the first place, and over he has been India's like he and Yuzvendra Chahal. Obviously, they were India's frontline bowlers, frontline spinners for the recent few years. So he I think he can take that load of being the spinner for India now. And I don't think batting should matter much because I mean considering the batting of our bowlers are all a tail, because honestly you've got in your opposition fast bowlers, you've got pace of Stark, you've got Hazelwood and Cummins. So what we should worry more is our top order trying to face them rather than the bottom lower order facing them, because they're going to blow our bottom order away. It's going to be a very easy job for them. So yeah, we
Yeah.
should while considering our bowling options, we should just look forward to just bowling.
Yeah, yeah, completely agree with you on that front because the first job is to bowl, and they have Mitchell Stark, who is also known as the mop, who just cleans up the tail. So you can't really focus on their batting at the moment. But India don't only have problems in the bowling, but also have problems in the batting because Jadeja was selected as a batsman first and then as a bowler. Obviously, picked up 4 wickets, but he was batting at number seven and performing consistently. He scored a 50 in the last game and was looking good in the first innings as well, and now even Hanuma Vihari is injured, which means that India
Shubham,
have, yeah,
can you
yeah,
just can you just pull up the squad on the screen?
yeah,
I want to see
yeah, yeah,
who we actually have left.
yeah, definitely. I will
Because
pull up the score.
building an 11 with this team now will be very difficult. So let's just see what we have left.
Yeah, I'll just see the squad does have the injured player, so I will keep telling
Yeah,
you who is injured. I'll just share my screen so that you can see the squad. Here we go. So yeah, obviously no Virat Kohli. Mayank Agarwal might be fit. It depends on whether it's a fracture or not. He also got hit by a ball in the nets. Prithvi Shaw is available. KL Rahul is not available. Let's just pick the batting lineup. See, Rohit Sharma, Shubman Gill opens, isn't it? No
that's
question
unquestionable.
about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Pujara at 3, Rahane at 4. These four are fixed. Now
Yeah.
give your opinions on 5, 6, and 7. If 8, 9, 10, 11 are your four bowlers, which is Ashwin and three pacers if available, obviously. Who are your 5, 6, and 7? You need a keeper and two more batsmen.
Number five, I really hope if see, I don't know to what extent, like how do painkillers work, but if one can get back, then I think that would be fine. But if not, then I would go for Saha, and then yeah, Saha on five, and probably wow, I would, yeah, probably Saha on five, and then we can go for Navdeep Saini or someone on six.
That's Saini at 6 doesn't really, I think doesn't really make sense. Advait, if you can come in on this. You mentioned Pant. If Pant is fit, I think Pant will be fit because he batted on the fifth and looked comfortable towards the later half of his inning. So and a 3 days break, which means he will be fit. So Pant at 5. Do you agree with that, Advait?
Yes, Pant at five, and especially with the way he has done in the last innings, I do think that he has got a definite edge over Saha. And I just don't think Saha and Pant both playing here, because if Pant gets out, because he's an aggressive player, so you can't just really bet on him that he will perform in each and every innings. If Pant gets out, and looking at Saha's recent record with the bat, he has not been so impressive. So I do think that Shaw and Agarwal both must fit, with Agarwal at six, Pant and Shaw, they will just shift between 5 and 7,
I think Shaw
depending
can
on the
still bat
condition.
at six, considering like the main thing is we should. I think his weakness lies in the first 20 overs, like when the ball is really shiny. If it's a dead ball, then probably he'll be able to hit runs. So I think he would work out in six, but that's again a gamble. So we really don't know because he hasn't really impressed us last
Yeah.
session. So
Yeah, see, so you need to pick seven batsmen. I think we picked five with Pant as the fifth. You need two more. Either Pant keeps wickets or you can bring in Saha. Now, I think you will pick Mayank Agarwal if he's available. Mayank, somewhere in the order,
yes,
Mayank Agarwal if he's available. So that's six batsmen. Now, do you go with Shaw, who is a pure batsman, and then Pant has to keep wickets? Or do you go with Saha, who can keep wickets and then Pant plays as a pure batsman? Suman, your thoughts on this?
See, I believe that India have to put out their strongest 11 for this test, right? Because to have the highest chance of
Yeah,
winning. And
yeah,
having Saha in there only for his wicket keeping, I don't really want that happening because as Beth pointed out, his batting hasn't been good in recent years. And not recent years and definitely the recent few few matches. So sure, you're looking for a keeper who will take catches and will be really good behind the wickets, but every keeper has off day, right? It might be that Sahar gets picked just for his wicket keeping and he drops five in the Gabba test. What will he do then? And he contributes, let's say, 2 runs with the bat. What will he do then? You're in a really bad situation. So I would
yeah,
say if they're bringing their strongest 11, Rishabh Pant, if he's fit, he can slot in anywhere between 5 and 7. He's that type
yeah,
of player who can come
yeah,
according to the situation, right? And I just want to go off topic for a little bit and talk about Rishabh Pant. I read this article on CricBus
yeah.
which
Even
said that
I read that.
the day before the final day of the test,
Yeah,
Rishabh Pant at the close of play on the first day, he was injured. He'd gotten hit on his elbow. He went into the nets and he told the throwdown specialists of the Indian team to bowl bouncers at him because he knew that was what he was going to be facing the next day. And this man, every time he was hitting the ball, he was grimacing in pain, but he kept telling himself to go through it. And in that 30-minute session, he conditioned himself to play through the pain, and that is just mind blowing to me. For a player not to take rest after you know the day finishes, instead go into the nets and just keep battling it out and practice playing through the pain because he knows he will have to do that the next day. And the next day he comes in with painkillers. He's trained himself to resist the pain, and he comes in with painkillers and he hammers a 97. So that just speaks volumes about this man, and he's earned a lot of people's respect because so many people have been criticizing him for not doing well um, in recent times. Okay, that was a tangent, but let me get back to the main course. So Rishabh Pant can start in anywhere between 5, 6, and 7. For now, let's put him at 5. Then at number 6, I would strongly believe they can bring in Mayank Agarwal because he is a solid batsman, and as you said, at that point of time in the middle order, it's likely that the ball isn't as lethal as it is at the start of the innings, right? So if the ball doesn't have that much shine on, if it's an older ball, he can do a good job in the middle. And even if he has to face the second new ball, considering the situation, he has the experience to do that. For me, I think Maguire, he has been batting well. He's just been getting out due to lapses in concentration and sometimes just pure jaffas. There's really nothing you can do about those. So Maguire fits in at 6. Then at number 7, we need another batsman, right?
yeah,
Because the other option we have is Shardul Thakur at 7, which is a really long tail.
yeah,
So they might play Prithvi Shaw or Riddhiman Sahab. Again, the Saha thing looks unlikely because playing someone just for their keeping is risky. So maybe Prithvi Shaw comes in at maybe Mank comes in at 5, Prithvi comes in at 6, and Rishabh comes in at 7. They could go with that
yeah,
too. So these three players they might switch around. They'll probably be in there. And Ashwin, if he's playing, he'll probably come in at 8. He came in at Did he come in at 7 or 8 in the Sydney test?
7.
he
He
came
came
at
in at
7
7.
because Jadeja was injured, or else he bats at
Yeah.
8.
Okay. So Ashwin can still come in at 8. Then at 9 we will have who's the next best batsman?
Yeah, yeah. So we
It
discussed about
depends.
the bowlers.
Yeah.
We discussed about the bowlers. 8, 9, 10, 11 are our bowlers. Um, I will come to you, and then let's go to Nikhil, who has also come. But before that, I will come to Ninad. Ninad, as we all I think agreed that 6 batsmen are Rohit Sharma, Shubman Gill, Cheteshwar Pujara, Ajinkya Rahane, Rishabh Pant, and Mayank Agarwal. These 6 play. Do you agree with this? And who is the seventh guy for you? Is it Prithvi Shaw? Is it Riddhiman Shah? Because these are the only two options. Shardul Thakur, then the tail becomes a bit too long, as Sumant mentioned.
Yeah. So, I mean, considering to choose between Prithvi Shaw and
Saha.
Saha, yes, sorry.
Yeah.
Uh, I think I would go for Saha because I mean, Prithvi Shaw has his form in the recent his recent form doesn't seem that great. Neither does Saha's, but then at least you get a keeper with Saha, so you can keep switching between Pant and Saha if you need. I mean, yeah, that's a small
Are they
like
allowed to
tricky
do that?
option.
Are they allowed to just keep switching gloves with them two keepers in the team?
See, if both of them are playing, you can obviously switch. That's
Yeah,
not.
Okay.
But if one of them is playing and the other comes in to keep, then the first has to have an injury. Then only the second
yeah.
is
Yeah.
allowed to
But
keep.
how is this gonna work? Rishabh Pant drops a catch, Saha gets the gloves. Saha drops a
No,
catch,
I,
Rishabh
I
gets the
doubt they
gloves.
would
Are
even
they going to
think
do
of
this?
doing that though.
no, they wouldn't do
Yeah,
anything of that sort. I'm saying, what this is a highly unlikely thing. Let's say Pant gets injured, like or Saha is keeping and he gets injured, then you can get Pant in to keep not like a major injury, but something of a smaller sort. But then, yeah,
yeah.
but then just looking at the pure batting form, the comparison between Shaw and Saha, I would go with Saha rather than Shaw.
Sir, just one
Nikhil.
question.
Yeah.
Saha has just played one match in the Australian tour. So
Yeah.
you are
Hmm.
just
True.
saying that he's not in form because he has not performed in two innings. Because in the practice match, I think he also made 140 around. So
Yes.
He
you are
played.
just
Yeah,
saying two
he
matches and
played
saying
a
that
good innings.
he's not in form,
Ab,
and then comparing the IPL matches to see whether he's in form. I don't think that's a great idea because IPL and the matches in Australia are completely two different sets of things.
yeah. Completely agree. See, the question with Shaw was he also had a technical deficiency, which is
Yeah.
also something to look out for. But if the Indian team wants all batsmen, then just go in with Shaw, and then Pant can keep wickets. Nikhil, let's get your point of view on this. First of all, do you agree that Rohit Sharma, Shubman Gill, Pujara, and Rahane are your top four? And
Yeah,
then,
I mean those are
yeah,
our best players as of now.
yeah. Yeah, and then
Uh,
Pant comes in. Either he bats at 5, 6, or 7. That can be that can depend on the situation
I
of the
think he
game.
should bat at 5, but okay.
Yeah. So now you need 6 and 7 if you're going in with four bowlers, which are
For me at 6
yeah.
comes Mayank Agarwal, and at
Okay.
7
Okay.
comes Vridhiman Saha.
So
I
no
think
Prithvi.
that is the most, yeah, no Prithvi Shaw, because I think for me that is the most balanced 11 right now. And then Ashwin, I hope he's fit. I really do. And Ashwin comes, and then as we've put it on the screen, Siraj, Thakur, and Saini. But yeah, I mean, as you said, Prithvi Shaw, his technical flaw is there. His confidence is probably very low right now. Vridhiman Saha has been in and out of the team.
Yeah.
He's been asked to keep. He played in the first Test match. I think they were before the series they were thinking of Saha as their first keeper. Then they changed after the first Test match. So I think Saha can definitely do a job at 7, if you ask me. I think he has, batting with the tail. He can be aggressive as well. He can play his shots. But if there's need to defend, as they did in the previous Test match, I think he can do that as well. Yeah, I agree with what Advait said that about him not being in form. It's just one Test match. Saha has done the job for India number of times. So yeah, for me, Saha comes in, and if Saha's playing, then obviously he's keeping.
Yep. And I just want to add one
Yeah.
thing that you
Yeah.
also look at the seniority of the player, and Saha does have a lot of experience playing test matches, which Prithvi obviously doesn't have yet. Sure, he's played at the junior stage and at the domestic stage, but he does not have the experience that Saha has. So if we absolutely have to choose between Saha and Prithvi Shaw, right? Most
Yeah.
people would go with Saha because and
Yeah.
just hope that he bats well and he keeps well. That's
Yeah.
what we
So
have to do now.
Yes,
I do
Saurabh,
think
your
that
point of view as well.
Saha is obviously not a long-term thing, and like we have to move on
Yeah,
from this Pant and Saha debate. Like it has to end somewhere, and I think the Indian team has to decide going. I think in the England tour, where at home Saha plays, and now what do you do with Pant, who's been in such good form? I think there's something. They have to figure out something.
Yeah. Uh, Before we move on to the next point, I would like to bring in Advait. Give your point of view. Exactly what was it? Were you talking about Shaw's form or Saha's form in those one game and then a practice game?
In one
Who?
game, I was talking about Shaw's form because Shaw
Okay, so
scored. Yes, sir,
yeah,
continue.
so would you go with Shaw for as a pure batsman at number six maybe, and then Pant bat seven? That you
Yes,
can change obviously.
yes, because we have seen that India has not been so great with the bat, and at Gabba, where most of the touring countries like England, Africa even fail to win the matches, how you expect the top order to perform in both the innings at consistent basis? So you would require someone who you can say that yes, he can bat. Because with Saha, I just don't see him batting because there was a time when he was batting even below Ashwin. So would you like to bring a player who batted in Indian conditions at number 8 to play such a top class bowling conditions at Gaba? That's a risky thing.
Interesting, interesting. I think we will get to know everything tomorrow because
Yeah,
India tend to announce their 11 a day.
announce their squad. Yeah,
especially
early.
Yeah,
early
yeah.
on.
Yeah, so I will put it on our group, so we will get to know what happens. Let's talk about the Australian 11 as well. So the big question for Australia is the opener once again. There were obviously thoughts that David Warner, who played the third test, might miss the fourth test, but Justin Langer said that he might play, which is almost that he will play. And then the question is about the second opener as well, because Will Pekoski injured his shoulder while diving. So Justin Langer once again said that if Will Pekoski doesn't recover in time, then you can go with Marcus Harris. Would you like any other change in this team, or you are going with the same 11 for Australia? If Will Pekoski not available, Marcus Harris. If he's available, Will Pekoski. All the others remain the same. Your thoughts, Ninad? Let's start with you.
Sorry, I kind of zoned out. Yeah, Australia's playing 11. Yeah, yeah, I think this uh, order looks kind of good, but what about Will Pukowski? I think, does he
Yeah,
have any injuries?
yeah, he has an injury. That's why.
Uh,
Wait,
right.
your views on this. Do you keep Matthew Wade because only his place will be in question after the shot he played in the first innings? Apart from that, I don't think anybody else's place is in doubt.
Yes, I think Matthew Wade will keep his place because the Australians are backing him. And as we see, as we have seen after the first innings, the shot which he played, the Aussies said that this is his nature, that he would go after the
Yeah,
bowling. And Steve Smith also said that they would like to dictate terms on the Indian bowlers. And because of that thing only, they were able to score an excess of score of 200 for the first time in the series. So yes, I think they will just go in with Matthew Wade because he has not been out of form. Yeah, it was just that one odd delivery in each and every inning that he has played that he just got out. It was it. So yes, I do think that they would just keep going it with Matthew Wade.
Nikhil, I think you would agree with this 11.
Yeah, to me, yeah, the only thing about Matthew Wade is that batting at number five, I just don't see him going on and scoring like big hundreds and being like a big part of this Australian team. That's why I would, if it was me personally, I would have stuck with Travis Head because he's still a young player and he definitely has potential and at number five, I think it's his very natural position. He can play there, and he definitely can score big runs because this Australian team, especially this Australian batting, it relies so much on Marnus and Steve Smith. And if you have a number five like Travis Head, yeah, he had a poor couple of test matches, but I think they should have backed him and they should have played. But now, obviously, I don't think they'll go with Travis Head. I think Matthew Wade will come in and Cameron Green has looked good in the last test match.
Yeah.
I really like the way he bats. So yeah, this will definitely be the order.
Suman, the question coming in, would you like to answer this? Can Matthew Wade play as an opener again and head back at 5? That's if Will Pekoski is injured. What do you think
Yeah,
of this?
I think see Matthew Wade, he opened in the first match, I believe, right?
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
Head was also playing in that 11. So in this kind of situation where another opener has gotten injured for Australia, they can look at this combination. For me, I think this would be more natural for them to have Head at 5 and Wade, as a makeshift opener. But the Australian team management will look in the net sessions and in the practice sessions and see which player has more confidence and which player is batting well in the nets. So they'll, think about their combinations very hard. But do they have any other player as backup in the squad?
they haven't added anybody else. That's
Okay,
interesting. They haven't added anybody else, so they have to
they
stick with this
haven't.
this set of players. Yeah,
So if they haven't added anyone else, then I guess it has to be between these three people, right? Matthew
yeah,
Wade, Head, and Marcus Harris.
yeah.
So Marcus Harris would be a good option for opening innings as well. They could do that, and I guess it'll just be a confidence thing at this point, really, because they know that what the Gabba wicket is like. They know that the Indians are going to be coming hard at them. They have nothing to lose. They will be coming hard at them with all their pacers and everything. So it will be whoever can handle those conditions the best, whoever is in a good frame of mind at that point of time. And talking about Will Pukovsky, this man first he gets concussions, now he gets a shoulder injury. So I think that the person sitting in the crowd, with that voodoo doll, he accidentally poked the shoulder of that voodoo doll as well, and that accidentally transferred to Pukovsky because this is just madness. This tour has seen so many injuries that it's just mind blowing. I don't know what to say anymore.
To me, what's
Absolutely.
surprising is the Australian bowlers are still fit. No one has
Yep,
flared
that's
off
the
Yeah,
yet.
biggest surprise. Harsha Bhogle
Yeah,
was talking about this, and why can't
yeah.
one of their players get injured? Come on, India are
I
yeah,
playing their,
think
seventh, eighth choice fast bowlers here, which speaks
yeah.
volumes about their bench strength. But Australians are still playing their first three.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, if you look at it,
yeah,
India's top six bowlers, which are Bumrah,
yeah.
Ishant
exactly.
Sharma, Shami, Yadav, Jadeja, and Ashwin, all of them are out.
That just says a
So,
lot about the bench strength because think about it.
yeah,
These guys have
that's
experience.
true.
They're ready to come into the test squad and play.
Yeah,
So it's
Siraj
incredible.
especially. I think he's been very impressive, Siraj.
Yeah,
Talking
and
just talking about this. Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
yeah, Siraj is our sixth option as a fast bowler because our first choice five bowlers are out. He's
And
sixth,
he
and
and now he's leading the line.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That's how it's working.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
I
I
also
looked at
one more thing I want to ask you guys about David Warner. Would you risk David Warner? He definitely didn't look
oh
fit
yeah.
in the
Hmm.
in the
yeah,
last
but
test match.
uh,
Would you risk David Warner? I'm sure they have test matches, to go still. There's the T20 World Cup as well. He's very
but
important to the T20 side.
having said that, Australia have everything to lose from here because if they lose the Gabba test, they are going
Yeah,
to wholesale changes. I don't think Tim Payne keeps his place as a captain if they lose the Gabba
yeah,
test. They have a Ashes in December, which is
right.
bigger than this, so they have to take this risk. And I think David Warner is playing, isn't it?
Yeah,
See
he
if they
probably will play, but
Hmm.
I don't know whether I would actually, risk it with him
I
not
just
being
hope that
completely
he.
fit.
I just hope that he gets injured in the first innings and then can't play.
if they if they went with him when he wasn't 100% fit in the previous match, then I think they will risk it again. Because again, this is
Yeah,
the last match of the series. Series is on the line. The World Test
Yeah,
Championship is on the line, and a lot of things are important. Australia, from their perspective, they it's a must-win game for them, and same for
yeah,
India.
yeah. Warner
So
has to perform though, right? Hasn't he? Like
yes,
yeah,
he,
yeah,
there
yeah.
was nothing from him last test match. He's the opener,
it
he's the
I yeah, I
experienced
think
opener.
I think they would rely on Warner because he's really explosive, and we've seen that in the past as well. So, an
Yeah,
Australian team would do anything to win, and
Yeah,
yeah,
right
exactly.
situation for them. So, I'm pretty sure that they would risk it, and we would see more of Warner in the upcoming
I
test.
just think it's a little risky because if he goes on to get a
Yeah,
long-term injury from now, then it'll be, you know, the
Even
next
worse for
matches
him.
as well, T20
yeah,
matches.
yeah. I
Yeah.
get your point, but I think that they would be concentrating on what's gonna happen now. Though they would keep the future in mind, but right now, I think Australia is that kind of a team who would, go for what's, gonna happen right now. What's important, then they would do that now. So I think,
Yeah.
they would still play.
They'll they'll also draw
Yeah. Fair.
inspiration from Ashwin and Hanma Vihari. They battled through
They
the
would
thing,
really, yeah,
so they would ask Warner to do the same.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so what did we have in the comments? Wade was getting starts as an opener. He got 330 plus scores in the 4 innings he played as an opener. Yes, he did. But I think his natural position is down the order, and they have an opener in the squad in Marcus Harris. And Justin Langer has made it clear that if Will Pekoski doesn't recover in time, then it's Marcus Harris who will replace him. We have also have some Aditya Srinivas fans in the house. Hey, Adi says Chignesh Bharat. Yeah, so let's move on to the last important point and then we'll go to the prediction. And it's about the Brisbane, the Gabba, and Australia don't lose there. Australia just don't lose there. The last time Australia lost a test match at the Gabba, none of us were born in
Hmm.
1988.
Hmm.
32 years, Australia haven't lost a test match at Gabba. I mean, that's a pretty impressive record for any team, isn't it?
I think it was Sunil Gavaskar who said there's a first time for everything.
Yeah, there's a
Well,
yeah,
there's a first time for everything,
yeah.
and it just might
Yeah,
happen.
This
I
is
will
it
also
might
give you
happen.
some trivia. Australia won 16 tests in a row twice, and the team who broke that streak, both the occasions, was India. Once in Kolkata 2001, every Indian knows that test match, Eden Gardens,
Previous
Rahul,
Ashwin.
VVS
Lakshman and
Lakshman. And the second time we did it was in Perth after the Sydney Test match where the Monkey Gate episode happened. We
yeah.
won Perth, a ground which is there to terror the Indian batting. Perth, similar is the Brisbane Gabba. Nikhil, your thoughts on this? Australia, why don't they lose at Gabba?
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting, isn't it? I don't know if any team has such a good record at any ground, not only at their home ground, but uh, yeah, people say it's about the bounce. Maybe it's like the mindset as well that you just know you're not going to win there. So like maybe teams play for draws, and when you play for draws, you end up sometimes losing as well because you just have that negative mindset and you don't want to progress the game, and then you start losing wickets, and then you lose the match. um, but yeah, I agree, if Australia lose this Gabba test, it's going to be very very embarrassing and very very fun for Indian fans, and it'll be such an amazing moment for Indian fans. But yeah, it looks so tough. It's going to. I think Harsha Bhogle did say that. Well, it would be a miracle if India win. That's true.
Yeah,
It'll
yeah.
be a miracle if India win. I mean, look at that record: 142 wickets. At every 54 balls they take a wicket, which is crazy. Yeah, it's going to
I
be tough.
recently, I recently read an article which said that they would be expecting showers in Brisbane, and in the past that has
Right.
helped India back in 2004 or three, I guess. At that time, Ganguly was captaining us, and it was a similar situation where we had a draw, and then we went on to win the series. So if I don't know whether that would happen. Australia have a good drainage system and all, so I don't think that's going to be a concern. But if that happens, then also I think we will be having a chance to retain the series.
And
So
it'll be so embarrassing for Australia if they lose
it will be
against
really
this India
embarrassing. It'll
A
be,
team.
Yeah.
yeah,
And
it'll.
Ninad has some views on this. Ninad, you have just commented if Australia lose the Gabba test, Tim Payne should retire. Give your points on this.
Mhm.
Ninad.
Yes, sir. My net is a bit. It's having some issues.
Yeah, but Tim Payne obviously looked frustrated after that game. He took a special press conference the day
Yeah,
after he
Yeah.
lost to say that I apologize for the way I behaved in the SCG test, which is quite surprising because no Australian
Right.
captain does that. And if obviously if India win in Gabba, that's huge, isn't it?
Yeah, because yeah, he when Ashwin was batting and when they tried their best to get Ashwin out, but they just couldn't. I mean, all the top bowlers, the Tim Payne, he got pretty frustrated and he started hurling whatever he could to Ashwin. And yeah, I think what he said was that come to Gaba and then that would be your last test or something like that. And then yeah,
Nah,
Ashwin
that was
told him
Ashwin
To
saying, "Come to India."
Ashwin said, come to
that
India.
was a savage reply. But then instead of coming to India, we could just end it in Gaba right there.
yeah,
I think
Just shut them up over
we
there.
knew. I think we knew that Tim Payne's captaincy is, at its break point.
Temporary,
When he
temporary.
kind of abused Ashwin by calling him a dickhead. So I
Mm.
think that was an issue, and he definitely lost cool. He even shouted at Hanuma Vihari and
Yeah,
Ashwin,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
that was a little more violent than this. Tim Payne is normally known for friendly sledging, but this time we definitely couldn't see that. So I
yeah.
really hope that it comes back to bite him, and he learns his lesson. So let's see.
I
One
think
thing,
even a draw in this test match would be like a win for India,
yeah,
yeah,
like
Yeah,
anything other
and
than a loss.
there is a thing. If we draw
yeah.
this, then the winners of the previous, we were the ones who won the last test.
retain
Right.
the
Yeah.
gold result.
Retain.
We
We will retain it. Yeah.
retain it. Yeah, yeah.
Right.
And as Aditya mentioned, there are chances of rain, so don't
Right.
take the draw out of the equation. On the second
Right.
and fourth day, there are chances of rain, so don't take it out of the equation. Otherwise, but
Perfect for Pujari. Pujara.
Uh,
yeah, and Ninad mentioned that Ashwin said that you come to Australia, that will be your last series, but will Tim Payne last till the India Australia series in India?
I
I
don't
don't think
see
so.
that happening.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
No. Yeah, wait, please.
I don't see that happening because after this, there's an Ashes series, and they just went Ashes to quite highly. Both the Australia and England, that's the greatest rivalry. So I just don't see. I don't know why, but I don't see Australia winning the Ashes. And even in the Gabba Test, after you have bowled 131, 132 odd overs, and you have just got 2 days rest because you will have to even train at one day. Then there would be one day for traveling, and also there would, according to me, there would just be one day rest. So will your all the four frontline bowlers be fit again to bowl current to bowl to again bowl those 90 100 odd overs? I am just saying minimum overs, 90 100 odd overs. So that would be a risky thing. So yes, I do think that India have a slight chance to draw this test match because of the tiredness that the Aussies bowler might have currently.
Yeah,
One
it's
thing,
Will Australia rest any of their fast bowlers?
don't think so. Don't think so. They have
I
the
doubt
option
it.
in James Pattinson, but I think
Yeah.
they will go with these three fast bowlers once again. Yeah,
Shubham,
Sumant, you're saying
yeah,
something. Yeah,
I was saying that one thing I love about this sport is that mindset. Not only this sport, but every sport, mindset really matters, and what
yeah,
frame of mind you're in that really matters in the test match. And it just take a step back and look at the third test. After the test finished, Australia are frustrated. Their coach is probably screaming at them in the dressing room, saying, "What have you guys done? What have you guys done? How could you not take those chances? How could you not take those catches?" And it's the captain who's dropped those catches. And then India, they are celebrating because they basically came back from an impossible position, and now
yeah,
they have the belief that even after having literally half of our side injured, we can still make a comeback. We can still hang in there. So now India will go into the fourth test match believing that they can win this. They'll be going for the win, and I think that is the
definitely.
mindset that Rahane will tell them. That's the mindset that Ravi Shastri will tell them. Go for the win, because they know that they've come out of impossible situations before, and they can do it again. Because Australia, even though it's their fortress, they're thinking that we can't lose this. They're not. They don't. Their confidence has been dented, and India can take a huge advantage out of that.
Yeah,
Yeah, just going back to
if
the
you give it back,
third test match.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, continue.
No, yeah, I was saying like about the Australians and their nature. If you they tend to sledge a lot, they tend to really give it to you. But then if you give it back to them, then they don't know how to handle it.
They don't take it well. They don't take it well at
Yeah.
all.
So I think we can really work that to our favor and shine at
Because
the
we've seen that that lethal pace attack, when you don't give them wickets for 20 overs, they get frustrated.
they get
They
really
start
lazy.
trying different they start trying different things. They start changing their lines and lengths. And once set batsman is in there, it's really advantageous for him because he can just wait for the bad balls and just start punishing them. That's what Pujara
Yeah,
does. That's his
and
mantra.
even external circumstances were against India. Apart from
Yep.
injuries, even the crowd
Yeah,
was really hostile towards
yeah,
India, and
yeah.
we came out despite all of that, and we rise. So I think Sumant made a great point over there by saying this.
Mindset. Yeah,
It's very tough, and
mind.
Yep.
I'm very confident that we can do it. We can pull it through the last test.
That visitors' dressing room at the Gabba will believe that they have what it takes to
Yeah,
win this.
Yeah, before we go to the prediction, Nikhil, were
Yeah,
you adding?
yeah. You
yeah,
were
I was
saying,
I was just saying at the Sydney test, I think on the last day the pitch was didn't help Australia at all.
Hmm.
I think they were expecting the pitch to be more helpful for Nathan Lyon, especially, maybe even reverse as well. I don't think the pitch did as much as people expected it, and even
Yeah,
the Australians expected.
yeah. One question before we go to the prediction: will Pant play? Yes, Pant will play. He looks fit and he will play as a pure batsman or as a keeper. That the team management will decide, but he will be in the 11. So let's start with the predictions. Let's start with Aditya Srinivas. What do you think? It's 1-1 at the moment. Will it remain 1-1, or in whose favor is it 2-1?
Yeah, I wonder after saying all this, how many people will actually say India is going to win.
see, I don't tend to think realistically. I still believe something will happen for India. So I think it'll be a draw or India will win it.
In short, India will dominate the test match
Yeah,
at
India will dominate. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Sumant, what was your before the series 3-1 or 2-1? I think it was 2-1,
I
right?
I said two
Mhm.
one at the beginning, I think,
Yeah,
or
2-1,
maybe it was
yeah.
2-2, I don't know. But uh, as much as now, I'll go with 2-1. I'll go with 2-1 in favor of India um because of all the factors we discussed. Despite just if you just look at the third test match, literally everything was stacked against India, but they still managed to escape through. If they can replicate even half of that and play some counter-attacking innings, I believe they have a very good chance of winning. So, yep, it's 2-1 in favor of India for me.
Ninad, your prediction 1-1, 2-1, 1-2.
I'm sorry to be the party pooper over here, but I'm going to stick with my original decision of 2-1 favoring Australia.
You sound like a
Advait,
third umpire now, but okay.
Advait, I think even you had said 2-1 to Australia before the series started. So are you sticking with it?
Yes, I am sticking to my decision of prediction of 2-1, but I would be really happy if it is reversed.
Nikhil might have to
Yeah.
change my prediction. He says in his name. So what's it?
Yeah, I mean, I thought I was being optimistic last time, but these guys were. I mean, India winning. I mean, it's so unprecedented. I'm gonna go with a draw, just because I'm optimistic. But really, our bowling lineup is so inexperienced with
Yeah,
Ashwin gone.
yeah.
It's just so tough for us to. I'm gonna go with 1-1 for this series, and India retain the cup.
That sounds good.
Yes, so Saurabh
Yeah.
Wandaker says 2-1 and he says hopefully I'm wrong. And I will stick with same just like Saurabh 2-1 Australia. But I am hoping that there is rain and it remains 1-1 or else it's 2-1 because Australia look just a way too strong at the moment, especially the bowling with Stark, Cummins, Hazelwood, and our bowling attack looks inexperienced. But we will be back after the fourth test. Don't go anywhere. We will review the series, India Australia series, and we will preview the India England series because the World Test Championship is online. India needs four test wins, either one of them here or then 4-0 against England. That's interesting to watch out for. New Zealand and Australia. Australia are probably the favorites to make it. New Zealand and India are the ones fighting it for the second spot. We will be back after the fourth test. Don't go anywhere. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please like this video right now. Like this for the Indian cricket team because they have done absolutely brilliantly at the Sydney Cricket Ground. Thank you very much. Thank you, Nina. Thank you, Advait. Thank you, Nikhil. Thank you, Sumant. And thank you, Aditya Srinivas, for joining on Cricket Adda. We will be back after the fourth test, and you join us after the fourth test as well.